Hi guys! For those of you who don't know me, my name is The Sun, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be doing a Draw My Life video. I think I might be a little late to this trend, but a lot of my followers have been asking me to make it for quite some time, so I figured better late than never, right? This is what I look like today, but in order to do a Draw My Life, we really need to start at the very beginning of my life. So, about 5 billion years ago, I was just a huge interstellar cloud drifting around somewhere in the Milky Way. I was too young to remember exactly what happened, but I've heard from astronomers on Earth that about 4.8 billion years ago, I either was set into motion by a nearby star exploding, or I collided with another interstellar cloud, and whatever happened set into motion the very beginning of my formation. All of the loose gas and dust that were kind of floating around together began to collapse in on itself, and as material gathered together, the gas atoms sped up and created even more heat until I reached about 1500 degrees Kelvin. It's at this point that I became what you would consider a protostar, or to think of it in terms of my lifetime, this was my teenage years. So this is teenage me. Astronomers have also found that although I didn't quite glow at this point, I did emit a lot of infrared wavelengths. Over the next few million years, I started to grow even hotter as more gas and dust pulled together, until my core reached about 1 million degrees Kelvin. That's pretty hot, and so at this point, a hydrogen isotope called deuterium began to fuse with other deuterium isotopes and create helium. The most important part of this process, though, is that energy was released by this fusion, and this marks the beginning of my ability to do nuclear fusion. So this is my first nuclear reaction badge. This energy was important because it created pressure which pushed out against all of the gas and dust trying to pull in because of gravity, which meant that I stopped shrinking, at least for a little bit, until all the deuterium was used up, and then the gases resumed their infalling, and I kept getting, you guessed it, hotter. The next important thing that happened in my life was the jets. So this is Jet 1 and Jet 2, but I named them Bob and Mo for company. Astronomers on Earth haven't figured out what causes these jets in stars like me, and I don't want to ruin the surprise, but essentially these jets were streams that pushed hot gas out and away from me in opposite directions of each other. This got rid of most of the extra gas and dust surrounding me that hadn't been pulled together by gravity yet, and is part of the reason you can see me so clearly today, because Bob and Mo moved anything blocking your view of me out of the way. Any gas and dust that was left over rotated around me in a disc shape and eventually pulled together to create large groups called planets, like the one you're probably watching this from. Even though Bob and Mo were pushing hot gas away from me, there was still enough matter that kept condensing, and this caused my core to reach 5 million degrees Kelvin. It's at this point that I began able to do something called nuclear fusion and marked my entrance into becoming a main sequence star. So this is me becoming an adult, a main sequence star. Now, since nuclear fusion has been such an important part of my life for the past 4.6 billion years or so, I do want to spend some extra time describing to you guys how it works. So let's zoom into my core and talk about how nuclear fusion works on a very, very molecular basis. See, I have a lot of hydrogen gas particles in me, like a lot, like around 70% of my makeup is hydrogen, or 1H atoms. Trust me, there is no shortage of 1H atoms. Before I reached my 5 million degree mark, all of the heat and energy made the hydrogen particles move fast, and they would sometimes run into each other, but nothing really major happened because they would just bounce off of each other or be repelled. However, once my core reached above 5 million degrees, the force pushing the hydrogen particles together became stronger than the force pushing them apart, and so the centers, the nuclei of a pair of particles, merged together. So step 1 of nuclear fusion is two 1H hydrogen particles combining, and the combination created something called deuterium, which, if you recall, we just talked about, so you should be pretty familiar with it. The next step was one deuterium particle combining with one 1H isotope, and this created helium, or 3He. This is the third and final step, where two 3He helium isotopes combined together and created a different kind of hydrogen isotope called 4H, along with two leftover 1H hydrogen isotopes as well. Now, the most important part of all of this process was that energy was released with each reaction, and it's this energy that really is the main product of nuclear fusion and has such an important influence in how I look today. You see, not only is energy important for a few things that you may not understand, but it also creates heat, which means that I am warm to you. It makes me bright, which means I am visible to you. And it also creates pressure, which we talked about a little bit before, and basically means that the pushing in and the pushing out of forces in my body are the same, and therefore I don't get bigger and I don't get smaller. Energy is amazing. Nuclear fusion has been one of the most important things in my life, and I really wouldn't be the same Sun that I am today if I didn't have it. I literally have nuclear fusion to thank for keeping me alive. It's been one of my main occupations since 4.6 billion years ago, and I hope to continue it for quite some time longer too. I can say without a doubt that I love nuclear fusion. Of course, I wasn't able to cover everything with you guys, since 5 billion years is quite some time to condense into 6 minutes, but if you're interested in learning more about what I'm up to today, you should check out a video I made about my daily routine, linked in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. I put out new videos every single Sunday, rain or shine. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye guys!